Okay, here Vijayaranya is addressing the Nididhyasanam. So Nididhyasanam is to be done or has to be done after Shravanam and Mananam. So Srotavyaha, Mantavyaha, Nididhyasitavyaha. Tavya means you have to do it. So Shravanam, he has defined, Shravanam is listening to a teacher, that is to the Shruti, and to a competent teacher for how long? Prolonged length of time until it is completely understood. So Shravanam is a study of the scriptures under the teacher. And the teacher is the one who himself studied the scriptures under his teacher. So there is a Guru Parampara and also a Sampradayam where a methodology of teaching is also being passed on in the process. So Shravanam involves a prolonged length of time until it is crystal clear. Why I have to study so long? Because I come with already a preconceived notions about myself and about the world. So I need to clear out all those and reassess myself and what is this world. So therefore it requires a prolonged length of time until my mind completely understand what exactly the scripture. Because what I have, I think I know what I am, but scripture says what you think or what you are is not really what you are, but it's something different from what you are because you think you are a finite being. You are this body, this mind, this intellect, and that's how I've been operating not only in this life but many lives in the past. So I already have a preconceived notion of who am I, and that has to be cleared out, and the teacher has to inculcate exactly what the scripture says of my true nature. And in the process I had to discover who I am, the subject, and what is this world. So in the discovery of who am I inquiry, as a lot of people say all you have to do is who am I inquiry, I am trying to eliminate I am not this, because I am a subject and anything object cannot be me. So therefore I start eliminating the whole world because everything comes under this. So not this, neti neti. So in process of eliminating everything, I eliminated the whole universe as not this, as I am. And in the process of eliminating, I start eliminating my body also, because even this body, idam shariram kaunteya, Krishna says in the 13th chapter, he says this body is also comes under idam, as a kshetram. Therefore, I am not that. So I am a kshetrajna, knower of the kshetram. I am a subject and this is an object. So I start eliminating the body. Then comes to mind. Even mind I know. So it is also object of my knowledge, because I know what all things in my mind. And things I know and things I don't know also I know. So all those knowledge and ignorance of about my nature of the knowledge is also I know, and all that is still an objectified thing. So therefore I am a subject. Oh, I eliminate the mind, I eliminate the intellect. So in the process of who am I inquiry, I am doing not this, not this, not this, and I am becoming essentially smaller and smaller and smaller only, because I am eliminating everything. And that only as I am is a pure existent consciousness as Satchidananda Swarupam has to be arrived at by the process of Anvaya Vyatireka that he discussed in the previous slokas. I am there, body is there. But even body is not there, I am still there. Therefore, I am not the body. So in the process, by eliminating each one, that is Avastatraya and also Panchakosha Viveka, I arrive at who am I. That is part of essentially knowing who am I. But that is not complete, and the scripture says, you are that. How can I be that? I just now discarded, I am not that, I am not that, and in arriving, I am. But now suddenly scripture says, Tattvamasi, you are that. I am that which I have rejected now. So I am also that. So what is that I have rejected also has to be understood, and for that I had to do essentially Bhagatyaga Lakshana. That includes the whole universe that can be objectified, and that stands for something other than myself looks like, and even that object is nothing but Brahman only, because Brahman being infinite cannot exclude anything. So when it says I am Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, that has to include even that I have rejected. So that means the whole universe is also me. So how can I be me? That universe also me. Therefore I have to understand the universe is known via the thought process, and therefore every object is nothing but a thought in my mind. A thought in my mind is in my consciousness, because I am conscious of this thought, that thought, that thought, and all the thought. They are only in my consciousness. So existence of the world as objects has transferred as though as existence of a thought in my mind, and consciousness that I am joining with the existence of the thought, together becoming I am conscious of the existence of every object. So in the process of knowledge that he takes us, that I am able to establish even the thought also pervaded by me as an existence and consciousness. Therefore, even the world or Ishvara, which is created, which has become many world, is nothing but Satchidananda Swarupam only. I am Satchidananda Swarupam, and the universe is also Satchidananda Swarupam. There cannot be two Satchidananda Swarupam. Therefore, I cannot but be equal to that. But I have just now rejected, I am not this, I am not this. And now I am including I am this and that. How can, is this not a contradiction there? It's not a contradiction only because what I am rejecting as not that is only a superficial entities that are superimposed on the existence. What I am rejecting is only a Nama Rupa, which has no substantivity at all. There is no reality to what that is. Just as gold can say, I am not a ring, I am not a bangle, I am not a necklace, yet I am a bangle, I am a ring, I am a necklace. Also it can say both by saying that I am not the names and forms, I am not the ID, OD, all the attributes of the ring belong to the gold, attributes of the bangle do not belong to the gold. Therefore, only I am the essence underlying all that. Aitadathyam idagum sarvam tat satyam, that which is the supporting the whole universe of idam, 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 that is the sat part, and that is myself only, because I am the existence, and that's also existence, and there are no divisions in the existence or differentiation in the existence, and therefore I had to understand by using what they call a Bhagatyaga Lakshanam, discarding the attributes that do not belong to or that are only superficial, only identifying or equating the essence of it. And Vidyaranya quotes the famous Vedantic example is Soyam Devadatta. This is that Devadatta. So this Devadatta looks different from completely that Devadatta. But when you say this is that Devadatta, we are discarding the Virodha qualifications, the contradictory qualifications of this Devadatta and that Devadatta. The body is different, the mind is different, the intellect is different, yet we are able to equate the essence of this Devadatta and that Devadatta as only one, and there are no two Devadattas here, and in essence there is only one. That knowledge will be taking place by using Bhagatyaga Lakshana. That means part of it is rejected and only the essence is equated, because what is rejected is not really of essential nature. It's not countable. What we reject is only superficial entities. So in the understanding I am that Tattvamasi, we had to use this Bhagatyaga Lakshana, and that's what essentially involved in the Shrotavyaha, Mantavyaha. I had to keep until, contemplate on this until I have no more doubts. So that's the end of the teaching. We all understood, I am that. Class is over. But unfortunately, after the class is over, again I am this, I am that goes on, in spite of understanding I am not that. I am the whole thing I understood. At the same time, says, I know I am Brahman, but my neighbor doesn't think that I am Brahman, or my wife doesn't think I am Brahman. What do I do? It's just like, you remember the cat and the zone? Cat doesn't know whether I am a man or not. The same problem. If I am Brahman, why should I worry about anybody? Is there anybody else other than me? So I have to have a clear understanding, not just as a thought, but as a fact. Vidyaranya calls this as aparoksha jnanam and paroksha jnanam. Paroksha jnanam is indirect knowledge. Yes, I am Brahman. So it's something like I am something. So I am Brahman also. I am Brahman also has become an objectified knowledge as I am this, I am a swimmer, I am a this one, all those things we can qualify ourselves. So I am also one Brahman also. That's what has become, is only become an indirect knowledge, a paroksha jnanam. But Brahman does not exclude anything, because it is Brahman means infiniteness. There cannot be anything other than Brahman. So therefore, everything has to be Brahman only. So when I say I am Brahman, then I cannot differentiate anything as separate from me. But that doesn't come, that knowledge doesn't come when I am transacting in the world. So where is the problem? It's not the problem with the teaching. It's not the problem with the teacher. It's not the problem with the Vedanta. What's the problem is, it is the problem with the student itself, because the mind has not been prepared. Therefore, the Vedanta has to be studied with the prerequisites that are required in order to assimilate this knowledge. So Shankara defines this, essentially you need the four essential qualifications, the Viveka, Vairagya, Shatsampatti and Mumukshutvam. These are essential qualifications that are required for before I enter into the study of scriptures. So in olden days, the student goes to a Gurukula and he was not taught immediately. He was observed slowly until the teacher feels that he has sufficient the preparation. Then only he will say, okay, now ask me what you want to know about the truth. So, but we don't have here, we are in the fast world, we have quickly we are going, Sunday came, Saturday came, and we are so busy with what? With which doesn't have any meaning at all, or substantially has no meaning. And therefore, we have entered with not complete preparation. If you don't have any preparation at all, you won't be sitting even here for an hour. 1 year after, you will be so finicky. See, when he will see, I can get out of this place. Why? The mind is restless. It doesn't want to even know what this is, because it doesn't make sense to it. So that is called Adhama Adhikari. In the hierarchy, there is a Uttama Adhikari, there is a Madhyama Adhikari, there is a Adhama Adhikari. So Adhama Adhikari is the one who cannot even sit here and listen to all this, because the mind is still rajasic, restless, and wants to do something else. And Madhyama Adhikari is, it has at least capacity and patience to sit and I want to know what it is. But the knowledge also is understood. Yes, I have been studying Vedanta so many years, and also I have been attending so many classes also. Now I know what is Tattvamasi. You are repeating the same book. It is all, we understood the snake and the rope example all the time. So what big is there? I understood. Is there anything else you are going to tell me? That means I have understood as only as one of the information. It is not assimilated. For me to assimilate, where is the problem? My mind is not prepared. Chitta Suddhi is not there. So for that only, for the person who has not have that Chitta Suddhi, Nididhyasitavyaha, Nididhyasanam has to be done. For the one who is Uttama Purusha, like Nachiketa in the Kathopanishads that we are going to take on Sunday evenings, says Nachiketa, one teaching is over. That's it. Thank you, sir. Because he understood. Not understood just as a thought, but understood as a fact. Because his mind is so prepared. You will see how prepared the mind is of Nachiketa when we go to the Kathopanishad classes. But that purity of the mind, he is the Uttamadhikari. And most of us fall in the Madhyamadhikari. Madhyamadhikari is not just a discrete, it is continuous, where people have different levels of purity in the process. Some are purer, some are less pure, and so on and so forth. And for them, Nididhyasanam is required. So what exactly is Nididhyasanam? There are several ways of doing Nididhyasanam. And Vidyaranya Swamiji is going to tell one method, but Vedantic method is to have constant smaranam. I am that, I am Brahman has to be a constant Shruti teaching has to go on continuously in the mind. I am not this, I am the total, the substantive for the whole universe. That constant smaranam, remembrance of my true nature, because I forgot my nature only, I got into this mess. Therefore, remembering my true nature all the time has to be there in all my transactions. And therefore, when I get involved in the transactions and forget that I am a Brahman and then dealing with it and get affected by the problems of day-to-day problems and say, I am worried, I know I am Brahman, but I am worried, that means I have not really understood at that time. Therefore, this smarana has to not only understand the teaching itself, the teaching has to come when I am transacting in the world. And that has to be practiced as abhyasa, starting at least in the morning first and in the night 2 times. It says, I am Brahmasmi, I am this, I am this. Total has to be understood, and then when I go, I forget this and then transact, but at least night time it remember the teaching again. That's one starting point, and slowly it becomes a habitual until it sinks in as I am in fact total. So for that, what need to be done? You have to continue Shravanam, continue Mananam, and continue Nididhyasanam. Some people say, oh, this is all intellectual, all I have to do is, now I understood Vedanta, all I have to do is sit in some place and meditate on it. If you can, that's good. That's also one kind of meditation that the Vidyaranya is going to tell us. But the Vedantic method of meditation is to see Brahman as you are transacting in the world. Because now I understood and I have to apply that. Apply in the field where I am, where I had to apply, because I had to live my day-to-day life, I had to work, I had to do this, I had to take care. All the transactionality which goes on, whatever the prarabdha brings in, I had to deal with it properly. Therefore, transactionally I had to continue, where in the transactions the differentiation has to be done. Chair is a chair, carpet is carpet, and food is food, garbage is garbage. All these things are at the transaction level, the differentiation has to be done. While differentiating, at the same time seeing the unity in that total is correct understanding or correct application of the knowledge. Therefore, while transacting in the world, in every action where Krishna talks about in the Brahmarpanam, Brahmavihi, Brahmagno, Brahmanahutam, Brahmaiva tena gantavyam, Brahma karma samadhina, that is a samadhi. That is the Nididhyasanam that Krishna prescribes for a grihastha who is doing his Nitya Homagni, where that's an example indicating everything is nothing but Brahman has to be understood, where the Karta is Brahman, Karma is Brahman, Kriya is Brahman, and Karaka, instruments are also Brahman, and the Phalam is also Brahman. There is nothing other than Brahman. Okay, everything Brahman is infiniteness, there cannot be anything else. Therefore, that has to be applied while recognizing the ladle is still ladle, the ghee is still ghee, and the homam is still homam. So, while transacting with the different properties and the attributes of the objects that I am dealing with, on people and so on and so forth, at the same time, I should have the vision that it is nothing but Brahman, Brahman, Brahman only. So this dualistic understanding has to go on while transacting, and that is become a sahaja sadhana. Sahaja, essentially, that is a clear application of Vedantic meditation. Whenever, because of my mind is not able to do that all the time, I need to do continuously Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, teaching, writing, everything in any form that you can express and understand that this is you are, that is methodology of Nididhyasana. So how long I had to do it? Until that how long question itself drops out, because I am Brahman is fully established. You won't ask anymore, because you will be enjoying in that state, because everything is nothing but Brahman. So whatever you do is nothing but the beauty of the Lord itself, or beauty of yourself expressing in those forms. But once I recognize it's the beauty of the Lord or beauty of myself, whatever you do has to be beautiful. Right? Where a flower is, I give an example, flower beautifully expresses for what sake? It's natural to express. It doesn't have to make an effort, let me be more beautiful so that others appreciate me. No. It blooms itself and expressing its glory. Whereas we as a human being, where we have intellect, we have to make an effort because we have a choice in the action. Therefore, we make an effort and make every action beautiful so that it is say, my God, that's beautiful. Or you can say, Lord is himself is expressing in this, and therefore the action itself is beautiful. When the Lord himself is expressing in those actions, make sure it is worthy for that also. It becomes a prayer also. So therefore it will be automatically a dharmic action and beautifying action, because it glorifies it. So Krishna in the 10th chapter says, these are my vibhutis, but there are so many, I can't list all of them. I'm only giving you a few examples. Now you can add your own examples by beautifying your own life as part of the vibhuti of the Lord. So that becomes the very life itself becomes the jnani's way of life, becomes expressing as the knowledge itself. It becomes a loka kalyanam. So this is the Vedantic meditation or Nididhyasanam. But here the Vijayaranya talks about adopting the yogic method of meditation, where we have a Savikalpa Samadhi and Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So there is essentially a methodology according to yoga, where you sit down in one place. And obviously in the 6th chapter of Gita, Krishna also prescribes where you have to sit down. It is not too high, not too low, and all that. The methodology has been described there. And in that, it says you have to contemplate on the teaching itself, where you deliberately put the mind in the teaching. It says, that is Brahma, I am that Brahman, I am that Satchidananda Swarupam. So all the teaching has to be applied at the seat of meditation to see that I am that Chaitanya Swarupam. The consciousness is because of which I am conscious of everything, including the teaching also. So when I do that, then it becomes as though a light is, giving example here, Deepam. Deepam is a lamp, its light is essentially showing study where there is no disturbance of any winds. Therefore, here, Yatha Deepaha Nivatastaha Ityadaviranekada, this kind of examples of slokas are there in many places. And Bhagavan Yamameva Artham, this in fact is what Bhagavan implied in the 6th chapter of Gita, Arjunaya Nirupayat. So this is what explained to Arjuna, and where you have constant contemplation on the teaching, sitting in the seat of meditation. So it is teaching has to be available in order for me to. So I have a clear understanding without any doubts. At the seat of meditation, then I should not have any doubts there. If I have doubts, I have to go back to Mananam and all that. So once I understood Shrotavyaha Mantavya, then I can contemplate in the teaching where I have crystal clear understanding. I understood, now applying in the seat of meditation for every thought also. So that is Nididhyasanam according to the yogic method. So we'll now take the sloka 59. Excuse me. Okay. Anada samsare, anada samsare, sanchita karma kotayaha, sanchita karma kotayaha, anena vilayam yanti, anena vilayam yanti, suddho dharmo vivardhate, suddho dharmo vivardhate. Together. Anada viha samsare sanchita karma kotayaha anena vilayam yanti suddho dharmo vivardhate. So anadau iha samsare sanchitaha karma kotayaha. So what will going to happen by this nididhyasana? So here he is giving a Veda, the yogic method of what exactly happens. So we have to adapt it from that to the Advaita Vedanta. In the yogic method, because the yogic method is completely different from the Advaitic teaching. In the yoga, the Jagat is Satyam, Jiva is Satyam, and Paramatma is Satyam, and also there are different Jivatmas also. So this Dvaitam is part of the yogic teaching also. But here we are using that methodology of contemplation, but not the philosophy of the yoga. So we have to adapt it here for the Advaita Vedanta. Here is Anadau iha samsare sanchitaha karma kotayaha. So anena vilayam yanti suddhaha dharmaha vivardhate. So for them, dharma here is punyam. So here there are two types according to the yogic Patanjali Yoga. There are two types of punyam, for an understanding here, because he is going to talk about another punyam also in this. So the punyam are two types. Punyam is merits. Or two types. One is laukikam, one is alaukikam. So laukikam is that punyam because of doing something of merits, I get the results here in this world. Okay, so whatever I am getting good things is because of you deserved, because of what you did in the past. You are an engineer because you went through that karma, all the school of engineering. So nothing is given free in this universe. Even if you may break 100 coconuts, nothing is given. Whatever you deserve, only you get. How do I deserve? Because of my previous actions in the past. If I have done something good, then I will be getting something also. So that kind of trading is essentially a laukika type of punyam, and whatever you have given gifts and all that and pleasures and all that is because of your past actions. So if you want to guarantee this one for the future, that you should be continuously, then you have to keep continuing this. Because account will get exhausted. Credit account will be over if you keep on only exhausting it without putting back into the bank. So this goes on until you have to do dharmic actions again and again. Okay, continue has to be process. But that is one kind of punyam. So here he is talking about that kind of punyam here in this sloka. So anadau iha samsare sanchitaha karma kotayaha says there are course of karma, the actions that I have done in the past. So which is from the beginningless. This is essentially anadau, from the beginningless I have been doing. So when did I start this? From the beginning, without any beginning. In the last life was before life was the before life. So all the suffering that I had done in the before life was due to previous lives, and so on and so forth. It is endless, and it's a beginningless. And this is samsara. Samsara means where I am suffering as a result of my previous actions. And sanchitaha, that is accumulated, and karma kotaya, all the karmas, essentially the papa karmas that I have accumulated, anena vilayam yanti. So by this, anena means by this samadhi, that contemplation on that, where I am withdrawing myself. How does this something will go? Something will go only because I am withdrawing the kartrutva bhavam in the process. I am not even a doer, then the account doesn't belong to me. Dead letter office. You say when you are gone, the letter comes. Where does it go? No address. There is nobody here to belong to. So it goes into the dead letter office. So one fellow has committed a crime, and police are after him. So there is a case, and the judge has given and says arrest him and put him in the jail. So they are looking for him, and then found, and they came to know that this fellow is dead. So what would they do? Case is closed because he's already dead. Only if he's alive he can be put in jail. So it belongs to a person who has who has the knower of the doership. The body doesn't do it. Therefore, the actions belong to the person who says, I am the doer, or I was a doer. So that person is gone, because by the process I am not even a doer, I am Brahman. Is the understanding. Brahman doesn't do. Why Brahman doesn't do? Because he is infinite. Only finite people can do. Infinite cannot do anything at all, including creation also. So just like gold, say gold, when did you become a ring and a bangle? I say, I never became anything. I am gold, I was gold, I will be gold. You only call me in this form as a ring, in that form as a bangle, but I have not become anything. So gold remains as a gold. So Brahman remains as a Brahman only. It's called from the Paramarthika Satyam. There is no creation, there is no analysis, there is no realization, there is no jnanam, there is no ajnanam also. Okay? Because he is pure prajnanam Brahma. He is pure consciousness, unadulterated pure consciousness. Then who has, the one who is asking the question is the one who has the problem. Because who has ajnana? The one who doesn't know that he is Brahman, he has ajnana. And therefore he himself now realized that I am Brahman in principle, in reality, even though I am taking this body, mind and intellect. Brahman taking the body as though and operating in the world as a Vyakti or an instrument. Same Brahman operating in another body, another mind, another intellect. So, same gold operating, taking the form of a ring here. Same gold taking the form of a bangle there. Same gold taking the form of different ornaments. But Brahman, the gold itself is not becoming a ring, or not becoming a bangle, or not becoming a bracelet. Gold still remains a gold, but still varieties of ornaments are also there. That becomes a knowledge of a jnani also, where I am taking, and this body, mind and intellect, which is product of prarabdha, will go through until the prarabdha is exhausted. And ups and downs in life, and if there is a throat cancer or something has to be done, everything has to go through. If you are getting old age and knee pains and all those back pains, everything will be normal, because that belongs to the body. My body has a problem, but I have no problem. That becomes an understanding. Well, in that body, he is going through the suffering part of it. But he himself doesn't suffer when he lifts himself to the understanding that I am the Brahman. So here, see, all this samsara that kartrut, because I have done, is due to karma kotayaha. This is kota means the humorous amount of actions that I have done, that are accumulated sanjitaha in this samsara continuously, this life after life after life after life, and which is beginningless, anadav. That is essentially anena, by this nirvikalpa samadhi, velayam yanti. So it's essentially totally get dissolved. And suddha dharmaha viruddhate. So pure dharma, pure punyam, which is a spiritual punyam, will be essentially grows in the mind. So what is a spiritual punyam? Spiritual punyam is my mind firmly abiding in the knowledge. So from the point of Vedanta, we can interpret that, says, why Nididhyasanam is required? Because Chitta Suddhi is not there. Nididhyasanam is not a means of knowledge. You don't gain any new knowledge. You're only having already knowledge that you already have is now becoming internalized as firmly abiding knowledge in all transactions in my life. Why it is not possible? Because right now my mind is still agitated, because still I have attachments. Because I am attached to this, I am attached to this, and I start crying when something goes away and all that. Because my mind is not purified. So here, the clearing off is essentially, I slowly get detached and I become more purer and purer. And that purity of growing up purity is called Suddha Dharma. So in that way, we can apply to the Vedantic as a meditation in the process. So what do I have to do? I have to constantly, continuously apply this knowledge until I become one with it. And it's recommended also where if you can do it in an environment which is not disturbing for you, if possible. That means sannyasa is recommended in the process where you don't have the responsibility of mind getting unnecessarily entangled in this, then you can do it. But not that it is essential, it will be helpful. So creating proper environment for nididhyasana is always helpful. What is the purpose? Purpose has to be understood. Purpose is to keep the mind in that state. If I cannot do it, then whatever environment the prarabdha provides, use that environment to uplift the mind. Apply the teaching wherever you are, to the degree that you can. So this is the application of jnana. Okay, we'll go to the next sloka, sloka 60. So it's continuing on the nididhyasana phalam. Dharma megamimam prahuhu, dharma megamimam prahuhu, samadhim yoga vittamaha, samadhim yoga vittamaha, varshatyesha yato dharma, varshatyesha yato dharma, amrutadhara sahasrasaha, amrutadhara sahasrataha. Together, dharma megamimam prahuhu, samadhim yoga vittamaha, varshatyesha yato dharma, amrutadhara sahasrasaha. So this is in the Yoga Shastra. It's called Dharma Megam Imam Prahuhu Yoga Vittamaha. Yoga Vittamaha, the one who are firmly abiding in this yoga or have a knowledge of this yoga. So Imam Samadhim, this Samadhi where you are contemplating on that and that alone, is called Dharma Megam. It is it's called Prahu. It is quote and unquote called Dharma Megam. Megam means the clouds, and clouds can shower. There are a lot of other useless clouds, but the clouds that carry the water and give you the rain, and that rain is what we want. We want that kind of clouds. So these clouds will rain you down. And what kind of rain you? This contains the dharmam, that means the punyam. What is the punyam? This is the spiritual punyam that keeps my mind elevated, purified to see myself as I am. So this is called Dharma Megam. This clouds is only an analogy is giving. Varshatyeshu, so yato dharma amrutadhara sahasrasaha. So the clouds is going to pour down in amrutadhara. Amrutadhara is immortality, a rain of immortality. In so many ways it keeps pouring you down. The more I meditate, the more I contemplate on that nature of the reality, the more these clouds becoming heavier and heavier, and it's pouring down the rain of this Amrutadhara, where the knowledge of immortality is being poured down. What is knowledge of immortality? Immortality is that which is Nityam, means there is no mortality there, right? So I am Nitya Swarupam, which is Sat Swarupam, Satyameva Nityam. Therefore, I am that pure existence is getting understood in the mind. And I am Chit Swarupam. I am pure consciousness that pervades everything, also is part of the rain that comes down. And I am Ananda Swarupam. I am pure happiness. My nature itself is happiness. Therefore, I don't have to go far looking for happiness everywhere. So this becomes a litmus test of when my nididhyasana is complete. So what is my litmus test? There is an article that I wrote in the Advaita forum you can find. This litmus test is, because I am not looking for existence. Everybody knows they exist. I am not looking for consciousness. Everybody, I am sure, will know that they are consciousness. What I am looking for all the time is happiness. So all my rat race is I want this, I want this, I want this, running around because I want to be happy. If people praise me, I am happy. The next day moment the people drop me down because they were praising because they wanted something and you didn't give it, therefore they will drop you next moment, then you are unhappy. So my happiness depends upon what the other people do, then I have problem. If my happiness depends upon other people's opinion about myself, then I have a problem. I am absolutely happy irrespective of what the other people do or not do or anything, then my happiness doesn't depend upon anything other than myself. That is the litmus test for whether I realized or not. This is the litmus test. This is to test not for others. It is to test myself whether I am happy by myself or not, irrespective of what my wife says or my husband says or what my boss says or whatever whoever says. I am happy irrespective of any circumstance, any situations, in spite of they may be killing me also, nailing me down to the cross. I can only say they don't know what they are doing. That kind of firm abidance in the knowledge is what is required. I am absolutely happy, and that is the sense of the dhara, Amrita dhara. That is the real nature of it. Shrunvantu visye amrutasya dhara. Say the Shrunvantu visye, I forgot my quotation itself. So they say, Shrunvantu visye amrutasya. Okay, anyway, forget about it. So Amrita Dhara is recognition that I am Satchidananda Swarupam, and that kind of rain comes down as I keep contemplating that I am that Tattvamasi. Tattvamasi is being applied in the seat of meditation according to the yogic method. So this is the result of the Nididhyasana. Continuing, next sloka 61. Amuna vasana jale, amuna vasana jale, nissesham pravilapite, nissesham pravilapite, samulonmulite punyaha, samulonmulite punyaha, papakhe karma sanchaye, pakhe karma sanchaye. Together, amuna vasana jale, nissesham pravilapite, samulonmulite punyaha, papakhe karma sanchaye. So amuna means by this contemplation or samadhi. So samatvam yoga vichyate, Krishna says samadhi also, where my mind has equanimity. That means the ups and downs of everything else does not disturb my mind, because I know I am Brahman. Everything is has no meaning other than for a game or a play. So therefore, amuna, by this vasana jale, vasana means all these vasanas that we pointed out are obstructing my vision of the reality. That's why that V is there, blocking BMI, because that is the one that is blocking the Omkara, that I am my true nature. And that gets essentially, vasanas gets nullified. So it's called network. It's not simple. It's a network of vasanas because one is interconnected to other continuously. So nissesham pravilapade. Without any leaving anything, it gets dissolved completely. So Vilapati is essentially destroyed, totally destroyed. All the vasanas get destroyed. So what are the vasanas? The vasanas propel me into my mind as a self-centered desires in my intellect and agitations in my mind and actions at the body level. Therefore, there is no more self-centered desires for me to operate. Self-centered means I want this, I want this, I want this. Why? I want to be happy. With that, I am going to be happy. But once the Amritadhara, that I am in fact pure Ananda Swarupam, then there is no more perturbations in terms of I want this, I want this. Therefore, because all the Vasana Jalam, the network of the Vasanas that are propelling me to actions here are continuously actions. So, Nahikaschit Kshanamapi Jatu Tushtasya Karma Kratu. So this Karyati Havisha Karma, they are propelled to perform an action. Here there is no more propulsion because Vasana Jalam is completely eliminated. And Samulon Unmilite, my nor is not Punyaha, Papakyo, Karma Sanchayi. So Samulam, with roots it's been Unmilanam, means it is removed completely with the roots. Now in the 15th chapter also, Urdhvamula Madashakam Ashwatam Prahuravyam. So there are roots above, and that is pictorial as a tree, and the tree is complete asanga shastrena, by detachment with the shastram is the one you can, like a knife or something, you hold it. Astram is you throw, shastram is what you hold it. You cut out the tree of that samsara. So here it is along with the roots also, you can remove it also. And roots are the vasanas. So samuro mulite punyaha papakye samma sanchaye. That which is all the papas that are accumulated are being completely removed. And here punyaha also is removed. In the previous case he talks about punya is accumulated, right? But that is spiritual punyam. And here the other punyam also is getting eliminated. So-called merits, laukika merits and demerits also gets eliminated because I am never a doer. Only I am not a doer for the papam. No, I am not doer for anything. Therefore, I am nitya suddha. I am pure all the time. Never done any actions. Why should it belong to me? It belongs to the body, mind, intellect. It suffers. If it gets elevated, it gets also, that suffers that also. If it puts it down also, that also gets suffered. If it gets promotion, that also it suffers. That whatever has to go through its process of it. He doesn't shun away from it. But whatever comes and goes, it is part of the prarabdha that comes. So, papakye karma sanchaye. How much time is there? Oh, we have. Okay, let's do the next sloka. Vakyam apratibandham stat vakyam prak parokshava bhasati kara malakavad bodham aparoksham prasuyati. Together, vakyam atipradam sad prak parokshava bhasati kara malakavad bodham aparoksham prasuyati. So vakyam here is the teaching of Tattvamasi is the teaching of from the teacher to the student, and Tattvamasi, you are that. So student has to apply, I am that. This is from the teacher, from the student point. So apratibandham sat. Apratibandham is without any obstruction. So before that, I have pratibandha knowledge, means obstructed knowledge. I have the knowledge, but is not coming down to my day-to-day transactions. There is less, like a simple example is my tank is full and I have opened the tap, but no water is coming. That means there must be an obstacle that is preventing the water coming down. Not that I have to pour more water into the tank. I had to remove the obstacle so that the obstruction is removed. So pratibandha is there. So even though the teaching is done, there is not fault of the teacher or the scriptures, but the teaching is not coming into my day-to-day transactions only because of my impurity of the mind. So in the process, it is right now in an indirect knowledge. Pratibandha knowledge is also called aparoksha, paroksha jnanam. So aparoksha means it's direct, indirect knowledge. That is removed once my mind gets purified. So when the mind is purified, knowledge is already there, the tank is full, it slowly starts flowing and flowing and more and more and more and more, like a varshadhara, amritadhara, it comes out, pouring out. And that becomes At-pratibandha is called apratibandha knowledge, without any pratibandha. Pratibandha is obstruction. And that means prak paroksha avabhasate. Before that, before this happened, it is paroksha jnanam. And that means prak means before this happened, because before my purity of the mind, complete purity of the mind, it's only an indirect knowledge. Yes, I have also studied Gita, I have also studied this Upanishad, I have studied that Upanishad, and so on. So somebody says, Swamiji, I have studied 27 times or something like that, Bhagavad Gita. I went through 27 times. And Swami said, let Gita now go through once in your mind. You went through it. So it's not studying itself, but applying that in my day-to-day life becomes a process. And once you do that, says, example is this, kara amalakavat, kare amalaka. Amalaka is nelikai. I don't know what. Gooseberry. I don't know, gooseberry, they make chutneys and all that. So just as holding the gooseberry, maybe common I guess, holding in your own hand, I can see, what, this is gooseberry here. So it's so crystal clear. That's what knowledge will be, crystal clear to you. Others may not know. Others may think, but in your mind, it is very clear. No perturbations of anything, and you can apply that knowledge wherever you are. So it's called aparotsham prasuyate, and that is called aparotsham. It is direct and immediate, because we are talking about not some God or not somewhere else, or moksha is going somewhere or gaining something that I don't have right now. It's already that. But now the obstruction that I am not, that is not recognized right now, that is removed. Now I establish myself in the pure knowledge that I am. So that becomes immediate and direct. And the same example is like the 10th man story. You are the 10th man, not that he has been searching for the 10th man all over, but he himself is the 10th man. The seeker himself is the sought there. So you are searching all over, you will never find it, until the teaching says you are in what you are searching. What are we searching for? Happiness, right? We are searching for happiness all over the place, thinking happiness is there, happiness here, happiness is there, all over the place. But happiness is you are. So next time when you feel you are inadequate, you need to be, you are unhappy and you need looking for happiness, let the teaching come into the picture. That is the application of the teaching. This teaching has to be. So what is called the FIR reduction, that is the Swami Paramarthananda calls this as FIR reduction, where the frequency of disturbance goes down as I get established in that. The intensity of disturbance goes down, and the recovery time from disturbance also will go down as I firmly abide into this more and more and more and more. You become happy in spite of anything. Happiness beams through you automatically. So people used to sit around Swami Chidananda because he is so happy, everybody sitting around, they don't know questions, anything, but that happiness is overflowing happiness. And Apurnam, Bhagavan Ramana calls it, Apurnam is overflowing. Not only Purnam, it's Apurnam. And it cannot, but everybody who is around him, Mahatmas also gain a peace of mind in the very presence of that also. That becomes a nature. Okay, that's why people hang on to the Mahatmas, where they can get at least momentary happiness itself. And this is 10:30 now. We'll stop Purnamada, because the audience will go away. So we'll do Purnamada Slokam, and then we'll take discussions after that. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha.